Flosstube. This is Jean Workman of Monticello Stitches. Happy New Year 2023. I have not done a floss tube in many months. In fact, I think it's been since the end of August that I've done one, so I'm way behind. But thank you for joining me today, and I just wanted to catch you up on progress I've made with Monticello cross stitch and some other things I've been doing. So I fully intended to post way before now. After my last video, my sister and I took a wonderful trip to Italy for about 10 days, and that's one of my most favorite places on earth. We were in Assisi for a few days, and then we were up in Rada in Chianti, which is a beautiful hill town, and we were right outside of there in Tuscany. I fully intended to film from there, but just couldn't seem to get it together. The moment we arrived, one of our companions, we were staying in a villa, one of our companions who had already arrived came out to tell us that somebody had COVID. So, okay, but it was a big place, and we all isolated and continued to do our thing. And my sister and I rented a car. I've driven in Italy many times. It's always an adventure. This time, I'm a little older. It was particularly stressful. Roads are engineered differently, I'll say that. Spacing is engineered differently. Cars, of course, are different, although I was in a little Toyota, I think. There was just a lot of unplanned stress that I felt, and I just couldn't get a video together. For one thing, I backed into a post. Yay. That was pretty stressful. Things are, you know, when they say things are closer than they appear, they really are in those little cars, and the camera was set up closer than I'm used to in the backup camera, and I backed right into a parking pole, trying to get out of a parking garage that we did not understand how to get out of. So, I don't know, for a few days my anxiety ramped up. And then we were driving around, our little car started making just this little flap, flap, flap noise. And I thought, we're out in the middle of nowhere with a flat tire. It wasn't a flat tire. And then it began, as we went faster, it went flap, flap, flap. Well, a piece of the cowling from the right front tire had cracked. How did that happen? I don't know. So a piece of that plastic cowling was now laying over on the front right tire, which kind of freaked me out. All I could see was, well, this is either going to make this tire flat out here in nowhere, or possibly get so hot it could maybe start a fire. I don't know. We made it back to our villa with friends, and one of the gentlemen there was just a do-it-yourselfer, great guy, and he said, we just need to lay this piece of plastic that's laying over on the tire off the tire. Of course, that makes sense. He said, all I need is a zip tie. So he zip tied this piece of plastic off the tire. That about ripped me out of the frame. That was very stressful. And then the third stressful thing was my lovely navigator was terrible. We would go off in the wrong direction, and we were using Waze. I just didn't understand it. So the last day, we're trying to get back to the interstate, having a hard time, and we got there, and then she said, I guess I should have gone where Waze told us to go. So I kind of came home in a heightened state of, what the heck? And just didn't feel like doing anything for a while. But I guess I got over it. So then holidays came along, and excuse me, bronchitis came along, which I'm still fine. But anyway, at this time, at the end of the year, there are certain things that I love to do. I love to knit, and I got off on a knitting tangent. Even though I should be cross-stitching, I love to knit. I made about 4 hats. I found a project I'd put down. I've started again. I found actually several projects I've put down. I'm going to try to get back to them this year. And another thing I love to do is Christmas ornaments. I've just got completely sidetracked by all those things, but I was really enjoying myself. But the Nashville Needlework Show is coming up in March, and I hope to have 3 things. As of right now, I have 2. I'm going to share with you early peeks at my 2 things. So hang on just a sec. Okay, I'm back. I'm still finding things from putting Christmas away because in a panic I usually throw things in closets and then I can't find them anymore. While I was looking for my cross stitch, I found the hat I made. I made 3 of these little hats over Christmas. They're really fun. The pattern's on Ravelry. It's by Rosie, Posie, I think. I'll put it down below in the comments. Fast knit, it's a little big. So I made some for my neighbor girls in the 2nd size child, maybe. This is young adult and it fits great. I'll show you. It fits great. And I made this sweater, by the way. I'm just possessed. But let me show you what I have been working on. One thing is an old sampler that I designed and just couldn't seem to get it done. Sorry, I'm wiggling this around. The whole reason one of the reasons I got into cross stitch was it always makes me feel better about whatever's happening in my life, up, down, sideways. And so 4 years ago, I lost my younger sister. We were just 22 months apart, and it just kind of rocked my world, and I was frankly very, very sad for a long time. And cross-stitch and knitting, all those things made me feel better. So I designed something that kind of helped me get my grief out some, and I'm fine now, and I'm in a much better place, and frankly, she turns the lights on and off all the time. She was always a prankster, so she's around. But anyway, here is what I did. It's a sampler, kind of, if you could call it a grief sampler, I guess it is, or a mourning sampler. You know, in the Victorian ages, there were lots of mourning samplers. But it's based on a verse from Be Still My Soul, and I'll read it to you first, then I'll show it to you. So this is the verse I chose. Be still my soul, the hour is hastening on when we shall be forever with the Lord. I love that. When disappointment, grief, and fear are gone, sorrow forgot. Love's purest joys restored. Be still my soul when change and tears are past. All safe and blessed, we shall meet at last. So here it is. It's big. Of course, I do everything big. It's a weird size. I apologize for that. But here it is. It's not a standard size. I'll come in closer if you'd like to. And it may be reading this backwards. It probably is, and I apologize. But anyway, this border I found on a sampler from the 1800s and just sort of adapted it to suit me. So, and true to form for me, I cannot remember what kind of linen this was. It's a hand-dyed, it's green, like a minty green with a hint of yellow in it. And I've looked in all my, I shouldn't even call them notes. I've looked around. I can't find the receipt or anything. So if you want to stitch it, just look around for something you like in a sagey green. So, another thing that's been going on, oh, my other one is just sitting in the frame. It's not attached. So this is my other one, and you'll see the pieces of the linen are hanging out the back, flying around. But here it is. Okay, minor adjustments. In the middle of what I was doing, I ran out of storage space on my iPad, so I had to delete everything or offload everything. So we'll try it again. So this is my other new release that will be available at the Nashville Market in March, and it's just sitting in this frame. It's not attached. And so you'll see that linen's flying around. But this says, love one another. And it's done on a piece of 28 count Lugano that's labeled as a peach color. It's very, very subtle. It's kind of a warm, creamy background. So I'm finishing that up. I also have one I'm still working on, and I should not have put it down because I'm way behind. I don't know if I'll get it done in time or not. But if I do, then I'll have 3 for Nashville. Last year, you know, was my first time at Nashville, and one day some lovely women from Just Cross Stitch came in and were telling me that in the past Just Cross Stitch used to have a lot of samplers, and I think they actually also published Antique Sampler magazine. I'm not saying the Antique Sampler Quarterly. I'm not saying the title right, but anyway, I love those. I have a bunch of those copies, and they're wonderful resources. But they said that they had revamped their outlook from the magazine, but people were wanting samplers. So they came to me, which was amazing, said that they liked my kind of historic vibe to what I do, and would I be interested in doing one for their magazine. I said, well, heck yeah. So I got the email. I was given the choice of the month that I would like to do, and I chose February. So love was sort of the theme. So anyway, the magazine is out. It's the February issue. It looks like this. And my little thing is on pages 31, 32, 33. So this is my mini sampler I did for them. They had size requirements, 70 stitches by 100, which, as you know, that's just not very big. Especially for me, because I just explode out there. But anyway, so I tried to put some things that have meaning historically for samplers, and I got to do a little paragraph or whatever, but a basket of flowers symbolizes friendship, butterflies mean new beginnings and immortality, hearts represent love, and rabbits represent gentleness. So for that tiny little thing, I got a lot of stuff on there. But here it is, and there I am. So I'm really thrilled with that, and I hope I can do another one sometime. That was just out of the blue and a real shot in the arm to me. I appreciate that so much. One reason I haven't posted is because my husband and I got totally consumed by selling things on eBay. Is that not ridiculous? But we started watching videos, and we have a store, a little tiny store on eBay, and sell other people's stuff. And we started in July. We've made a little money. It's been fun. It's been a learning experience. But thrifting and antiquing is what we like to do, and finding something for nothing and reselling it, that's something I like to do. But that sort of took us away from the cross-stitch focus too. So now you're all caught up with me. It's January. Last night, University of Georgia won that championship game. We're all into January now. In the South, it's kind of amazing, and I'm going to cough again. The week of Christmas, really the week of Christmas, after Christmas Day, incrementally, it's a little lighter all over the world in our hemisphere, of course, but after Christmas Day, everything points towards spring. The week before Christmas is kind of gloomy usually, and rainy, cold, and you just kind of feel more Christmassy. And then the day after, you're like, I gotta get this stuff put up. The season is over, and it's time to move on. So we're into January now, and it really does look a lot like spring down here in Georgia. And I hope you're well wherever you are, and I'm gonna try to be more faithful doing floss tubes. I enjoy doing them, and I love to show you what I'm doing. When I was searching for some knitting upstairs, I found 3 projects, and I've started 3 projects in knitting that those 3 upstairs need completion. So, and I've got some quilts that need I don't know. I just keep moving on without, eventually I do finish things, I do. But sometimes I will have put in so many months on something and I just get tired of it and put it down and start something else. But I do eventually come back. I've got Baltimore album quilt I must quilt, and I've started hand quilting it. I looked into having it machine quilted. It was going to be beautiful, but it was going to be $800, and frankly, I'm too frugal for that. So I need to just set the oven timer and do an hour every day. But in the meantime, things keep popping up on my Facebook page because I watch so many things I'm interested in, and several knitting patterns and more yarn, which I do not need, came to my door recently. So it just all makes me very happy. Hope you're happy wherever you are, and thanks for spending a minute with me. Bye-bye.